Hello, boys and girls. This is Grandma Priscilla again with another story. And this one is another one that we think's kind of funny. It's been in our family for a long time. And it's about my grandmother. I spent a lot of time with her, and we called her Mama. Instead of Grandma, we called her Mama. And she lived close to us, and I loved her so much, and I just stayed with her a lot. But anyway, this happened before I was born. This was when she was a young woman with young children. And she and I have something in common. She was very scared of snakes, and so am I. I don't like snakes, and she didn't either. She was terrified of snakes. So one day she was out in her yard. She had flowers out there, and she had fruit trees, and she was probably plundering around in the yard looking at those, or out making her own soap, because she did build a fire sometimes and had her stuff there to make soap, and she would make that. So she was out doing her work just like normal, whatever. And there was a brush pile out there, and a brush pile is where someone cuts a tree or cuts some limbs on a tree, or some fall out of the tree, and they're picked up and put in a big pile. And my grandpa had a big trash pile. Not trash pile, but a pile of wood out there like that. Sticks and limbs and whatever. He meant to burn it later when he was there, but he hadn't gotten around to doing that. And so my grandma went out, and while she was in the yard, she saw a snake. Well, it terrified her. But as she was watching the snake, it crawled into that brush pile. And she had an idea that she would just burn that burn pile of limbs and wood, and it would burn that snake up, and then she didn't have to be scared of it. That was her idea. Well, she ran and got the stuff she needed to make the fire, and she struck the match or put the flame to it and started a fire on that big stack of wood. Well, she didn't think of this, but there was a wind that was blowing, and it blew that fire over into the grass, and the fire started burning really big, and it started moving. As the wind would blow, it would move the fire over, and it moved it out of the yard, into the field, across the field, into the woods, across the woods, and around where people lived. It burnt into the woods for a long ways. And we live in Tennessee, but it burnt all the way up into Kentucky somewhere before that fire was put out. And so, in a way, it's kind of funny, but in a way, it's not, because my poor grandma felt so bad. She just felt terrible because it damaged property, and we don't know if it damaged homes or not, but it did burn the woods all the way into Kentucky. So, boys and girls, don't you try that. Don't start a fire, especially when it's a stack of wood or something like that. It's dangerous. But it did happen, and so I'm just going to share that story with you so you'd know what can happen if a fire gets out, and that's not a way to take care of snakes. If you're scared of snakes, find a better way. Have a grown-up with you and help them to get you to safety, or wait till the snake moves on, because I used to go hunting with my daddy, as I've told you before, and a lot of times when we were walking through the woods of daytime, going squirrel hunting or something, we would come upon snakes. And my daddy would say, "Stop. Don't move. Let the snake go on." And we would stop, not move, and I would be scared. But we would wait until the snake crawled away, and then we'd continue on our way. So don't set a fire to get rid of a snake. And if you go into the woods, make sure you have an adult with you, a grown-up, so that you'll be safe, okay? I hope this didn't scare you. It's just a funny little story we tell. in our family of what really happened the day my grandma tried to get rid of a snake. You have pleasant, sweet dreams, and I'll see you next time. Good night.